All right, making a character in Kal Arath is super easy. And a quick lore primer. This is heavily based on Conan the Cimmerian, on that kind of sword and sandal vibe. I actually just finished. I was listening to the complete Tales of Conan when I was building that playhouse. So I'm primed. I'm ready to go. It's fresh in my mind. Really excited to jump into this universe. Our character is Garen Vosque. It's a name I've had that I've wanted to play around with for a while. He is a soldier. He's kind of recently, the battle he was in is over, and he's been decommissioned from the army. He's kind of out on his own. He's young. He's mid-20s, but at this point, he's a grizzled veteran of several wars, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do, what's the next step in his life. And that's, I'm keeping it vague. I have a loose idea of who he is, of what he's done. I don't need to go into any more depth than that. I don't need to think of some crazy elaborate backstory, because we're determining who he is. You know, maybe he's 20, 24, 25. He doesn't know who he is. You don't figure that out for a lot longer. So here we go. Character creation, super easy. You have 5 stats, and you have 4 points that you can put in these. No stat can be higher than +2 at the start, but you can make a stat -1 to gain an extra point to spend elsewhere. So I'm kind of envisioning, like, maybe he has a sword and a bow. I have 4 points. I think we're gonna make it the dump stat. I think we got to. So now we have 5 points here. We'll leave presence, which this is used for reaction checks, charisma, lying, intimidation, social things. Maybe he's not very sociable. We're going to put this at 0. This will kind of, maybe he's not very good at detecting traps. You know, he might not be the most perceptive guy. He did survive the war, but this could be because he's tough, and we pretty strong, and we're good with a bow. So -1, so we get that extra one. We can put in toughness. Then we get strength and agility, and that's it. That our character's made. We get to pick weapons. And there is a level up system, which I'll get into when that happens. You pretty much, every time you play a real session and you do something good, and like you sit down and put the time in and have a good session, you get to level up. And I like that system. There's not a bunch of shit to track. You have to be objective, you know, like if you wanted to just keep leveling yourself up, you can, but it's like you're only cheating yourself kind of thing. So when you sit down and you play for an hour or two and you feel good about it, it's time to level up. So next, there are skills. You can pick one of the skills in the base edition of the book. There is Warrior, Rogue, Mystic, Explorer. I think probably just going to go Warrior. And I'm going to read through these. Here you go. If you want to get a copy, go on to Shot.io. Okay, so we're just going to, for our first skill, we're going to pick Warrior. And he gets +1 for his longsword attacks. So you pick a specific weapon type, and you give him +1. So now you get 1 fate point when you make your character, and fate points can be used to just re-roll any one of their own dice rolls. And HPs, it's determined by a D6 and adding your toughness. This is the only time that toughness is added to an HP roll. So if you wanted to min-max it, you could make toughness 2, so you get your toughness bonus. You don't have to roll. You can make max toughness and then just get your toughness. So if you wanted, you could start with 8. If you were going to cheese it. We're not going to cheese it around here, though. We're going to roll it and see what happens. Oh, that's terrible. So luckily, we do get +1 from our toughness. So his HP, he's only 2. Maybe there's a reason for that, you know? So we're making our character, and now we already know, because he's at 2 HP, maybe he's kind of been wandering through. Kal Arath is set in kind of a desert valley, or a valley in between a bunch of mountains. Maybe he's kind of in the desert, and maybe he got separated from the main force that he was in, or they just kind of left him and said, hey, your service is over. See you around, dude. And maybe they threw a bag of gold at him. But gold doesn't really do you any good when you're stuck in the desert. So he only has 2 HP right now. And that could just be because he's been out in the desert and he's pretty weak for the this current situation. So that's our character. We go through weapons and equipment, which is somewhere, I am sure. I'm going through it's all the spells and other abilities for the magic users. It's very cool for the magic system, and I'm definitely looking forward to making some magic users, but I wanted to just start with this character. So the equipment and all of the art in this book is awesome. I love the style. So PCs can carry strength plus 8 items. So we get 10 items. More than that, and all physical rolls are made at disadvantage. And in Kal Arath, disadvantage is you roll 3 dice. And if you're at disadvantage, you remove the highest. At advantage is you roll 3 dice and you remove one of the lowest. So just for reference, and at twice the number, you cannot move. So I'm just gonna write. We have 10 slots right now. 10 slots. So for starting gear, we roll D6 times 10. So 1d6. Wow, at least, yeah. So they gave him a bag of gold. Like I said, he's got 600 silver. I'm just gonna put 600 right here for now. And they said, "See ya, dude," and they left him in the desert. And it's been a while now. He's been struggling to survive. Okay, we're back in, and this is a cool system. So it doesn't give you the exact price of items. It just gives you like this type of items will likely cost D6, like a flat D6 silver. And you're bartering and you're trading these kind of more expensive items, depending on where you are, it's D6 times 10, and then of course D6 times 100. Very cool. And then it gets into the weapons and stuff of what they actually do over here. So I'm gonna roll some dice. I'm gonna play around and see what we end up with. Okay, so I just rolled for everything according to this chart for the cost. He has a longsword that's 200, a bow that's 50, a dagger that's worth 10, and then medium armor that's 100, a shield that's 50. He only has 6 days of rations left, and then he has a tent worth 20, and then there's 52 silver remaining. And so so you know, the sword, if on critical dodge, he can immediately make a counterattack. The bow is a longbow. Should probably specify that. So he can spend up to 3 rounds aiming for plus 1 attack in damage for each round spent. And he has a dagger that can be thrown or used when grappling or if an enemy's prone. So there's all these prompts that you can use to just jump right in to an adventure. And I rolled. I wasn't sure really if I was going to use these, but I rolled to see what we got, and I was going to go from there. You desire to find a battle barge carcass and restore it to glory, making a name for yourself as a warlord and conqueror of settlements across Kal Arath. Hey, that works. So all he knows is really war, and he thinks he's going to find a battle barge carcass, which I need to find out what a battle barge carcass is. All right, so just like it sounds, a battle barge is a land boat. So it's like a boat on wheels or some other movement mechanism that goes across the grass and stone of Kal Arath. So that's awesome. That's what we're going for. Okay, so you can see from my mini attempts and mini erase lines that drawing hexes are actually a little bit harder than I thought on this grid, but I'm going to not worry about the grid. We're saying disregard the grid. What we're going to do, I'm just going to run out of pencil lead. Okay. All right, so we've got our first bit of lines right here. Drawing the equilateral part to make them look like even hexes is what makes it hard. Okay, it's not perfect. It's a little bit wonky. They're a little bit taller than they are long, but that's okay. But now it's going to be easy because we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we just draw a straight line down from the middle to here. And now I'm not going to count my boxes. I'll just be able to eyeball it. And we'll go down. And really all we have to do is offset the lines. That one's a little too crazy. That one's too bad. Okay, right, so I've kind of calculated it. I've tried to kind of keep it even, but now I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, we know we come to the middle here because the point, we're not trying to get graded on a geometry test. Okay, I know now I need to come back 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that I do that, and then now I know I can just come down 6. It took everything in me to not erase this and redraw it and make it perfect and get a protractor, because I know that I could get a protractor, I could draw circles, and then I could form triangles, and I could make a perfect grid. And then I would have spent an hour making a grid, and I wouldn't have spent any time at all actually doing the creative exercise, rolling the dice, playing the game, and I would have spent all my time trying to make something perfect that doesn't need to be perfect. And the whole point of me doing this is accepting that things don't have to be perfect. They just have to be good enough to have fun. And I'm hoping that by releasing whatever in me demands to be perfect, I will become good enough. Because solo role playing is a lot more than just rolling dice and having fun. It is a quest for personal development, whether you're aware of it or not. And I gotta stop caring so much about things I shouldn't care about. Okay, so I just redid this. This pen has waterproof ink in it. And saying that, it did have waterproof ink in it, and I refilled it. So I don't know if it actually has waterproof ink in it anymore, but we're going to find out together. All right, this is our true test. I ripped a sheet out earlier to test the watercolors on it, and it worked okay. But working okay then is different than when we do it live. I just put a paper towel, the one from yesterday, behind here. And I'm going to say that we're starting in like this hex. So we got room to go this way some. We know that we want to go this way because we're coming out of the desert. So we know, oh, it's very much not waterproof. Immediately not waterproof. Oh my goodness. This is apparently a red maroon ink. Our desert's red now, guys. That's okay. So we know that over here is maybe red. This is part of the process. That's okay. Okay, so now I've got this red ink in my brush. I'm just going to wipe it on my pants and give the tip. I'm going to give the tip a little squeeze here. And now we're clear. I'm going to grab some of this ochre, though. Because I do. It's a yellow-red sand desert. Right here, where it's just so crazy. Like a bunch of water's there. Right, I can just grab that and reset it. And I just got a little bit too much water on my brush here. And now I can come in super loosey-goosey. It's a desert, man. We just need to know that it's desert. And then like maybe these hexes here start becoming the forest. For the planed sections. And now I know I need to go back and put my waterproof ink back in. But it's okay. I don't mind that it's tinted red. It can be tinted red. It looks kind of cool. Is what it is. And then we know. So this is each square represents 20 miles. Because he's a soldier, he has a vague sense of direction. So he's gonna know. I'm gonna say like it's logical that he knows over here is a forest. But I'm not gonna color in any more past that. Right? We know we're coming out of this desert area. It's gonna start getting up into some grasslands, into some plains, and we'll get a little bit of yellow in here. We're gonna just have a busted up mess here. I got some green. Let me do this right. So just so you can see, like I can come over here and grab some yellow, and I can put it over here in the palette, and then I'm gonna mix here. I'm not gonna actually draw any features in here yet. I can clean this out. And I can grab some of this green now, and I can just come over here. And I'm going to need to get a lot of yellow to make like a lime foresty green. We don't actually know what's in here. We just have an idea. So I'm keeping it vague and hazy. And, you know, these hexes are going to start to switch into some green forest. But everything kind of has this red haze to it now from our marooned ink. Because I forgot right at the moment of truth that I had wanted to do this before, and I stopped because it wasn't a perfect setup. But I wanted to keep using that pen, so I switched ink in it, and this is a lesson about why you shouldn't do that. And then now to clean this, I can clean this and the brush at the same time by just kind of getting that ink out of there and then giving it an old 1-2 on my shorts. And there you go. And then I can just dry it off on my shorts. We're good. And I have more paint strokes on my pants. It's the way the Lord intended. All right. So now, boom. And this from the nature of the paper and putting, like, see, it doesn't bleed through. It's going to be rippled and wet. So by the time we get done doing this, this is going to be a weathered and aged book. And this book of our notes and explorations will be an artifact in and of itself. So there we go. I'm going to still keep, this paper towel behind it. Actually, no, I'm going to grab another sheet of paper and chuck behind there. Just a piece of cardstock. I don't want to ruin that whole page, you know. I don't want to get crazy. So now we're there. We know that we're starting here. Okay, here we go. So we're here in this hex. We're about 40 miles from really kind of getting into the grasslands that we think, if we're gonna find the wreckage of a battle barge that we can repair, it's gonna be somewhere over here. So now the first thing we do is we roll for a weather, a 4. Unexpected chill. A sudden drop in temperatures brings unseasonal harsh frost. So we're at a -1 for foraging now. So I guess as we're coming out of the desert area, as we approach, there's a chill coming. So maybe it's winter time. We turn to the next page. After weather, prior to foraging. So there's a set turn order here that's specified in the rule book. It goes roll for weather, roll for point of interest, encounters based on the travel note. Today's on day's travel, not by hex. So you might spend multiple days traveling through a hex. Very cool. So first up, we rolled for weather. So now we have a chance at getting lost. So after weather, but prior to foraging, to see whether or not we're lost, we roll the d6. It's a 5. Should roll it where you can see it. Or I'll roll it again where you can't see it. But it's a 5. So if we were to roll a 1 or a 2 on a d6, it means you're lost and you don't leave the current hex. You must make a full travel through it tomorrow. So now we can try to forage. That's the third step since we're not lost. If we need food or want to forage for food and water or other resources, we can make a roll to determine their efforts. Weather does make an effect here. So because of the frost, we're at -1 to forage. So he's been trying to restrain his rations. He does have 6 left, but he does only have 2 HP. So we're going to roll the dice. See, he's going to try to forage and just see if he can find anything. And we're at a -1 here. So let's do this. Let's do this. There we go. It's a 6. So we're at a 5. Oh, we gained 5 rations. The Rand is generous to you today and find a variety of food. So we're not going to be hurting for rations, that's for sure. So I'm just gonna tick them. At first I colored them in, but I realized I'm gonna be erasing these. 4. So we're full on rations. We're good there at least. That feels good. We can also try like herbs. So if you're, maybe our guy is skilled at finding herbs. You only get to roll for herbs though if you roll an actual 6, but because we're a -1, we're definitely not gonna find any herbs in the frozen wastes wherever we are. So now we roll for a place of interest. So I'm just going to roll for the hex we're in. Maybe we just stepped foot into this hex, and that's how the day started. We roll 1d6 first, a 3. If it's a 1 to a 4, there's nothing there. So there's nothing interesting here. We're just traveling on through. It's the last bit of the desert before the forest. So I think it makes sense that there's nothing cool here. But now we roll for an encounter. So we roll again. It's a 1. If it was a 5 to 6, we get to roll the encounter table. But there's no encounter here. So we're just having kind of a boring day. We're gonna spend the whole day just traveling on through this hex. We're gonna go here because we can kind of make out that there's something over here. He knows that there should be a forest over here from his sense of direction, and it's time to make camp on day 1. So we expend a ration. So I'll go ahead. I'll erase a ration. Just trust that I did it. Don't want to stop. And now we check for a nighttime encounter. So looking for a 1 to 2 now. All right, a 5. So we're safe in the middle of the night. End of day. Summarize the day's events in your journal. Update the party status and roll for any meeting or turning points if necessary. Prepare for the next day of travel or end your session. So on day 1, we got to know our guy. We know that he's trying to get out of this desert and go over into the proper plains of Kal Arath to find a battle barge. I don't think we really did anything to warrant giving us a level up or an XP. So I'm not gonna do that. But we're gonna start, and we're gonna be. Here we go. We're gonna mark. Maybe I need a little dice. I need a little guy to show that we're on this hex, or maybe I should have made my hexes bigger. But this is where we are. Time to start day 2. So we go through the whole thing again. This time we roll for weather. It is a 3, which means, and I'm realizing I should get some tables out until I know what this is. A 3 is light rain. Showers help the flowers bloom, but make the ground muddy. So nothing too crazy. I think we're pretty good. So we're not going to spend really any time foraging today. He sees the forest and he wants to get there as fast as he can. And now we're going to see if we find a place of interest here. We don't. So we're moving again. Simple as that. We're just traveling through. We're traveling on through. Do we encounter anyone? No, we don't. We don't. I just keep rolling 3s, so we're really just meant to not encounter anyone, apparently. All right, we're just moving on through the hexes. Let's see. We're 1 hex away from being in this forest proper. We roll a 1, so we do have a nighttime encounter. So now we roll 2 dice. As we're camping at night, we come into an encounter, a 3. It's a Eukarya. Uh-oh. So now we got to see what happens. Okay, so now we know there's a giant praying mantis that has stumbled upon us. We don't know if he's friend or foe, but we know that he's here with us. So we're sleeping. I'm going to use the oracle to see, like, is this a friendly mantis, or is he angry? Like, what's his disposition? Is he hunting us? I think we have to, like, kind of narrow it down. Like, is he friend or foe? I think we kind of start there, right? So is he friendly? The answer is 5. So that's just a flat yes. He's a friendly mantis. So he might be friendly, but Garen might not necessarily know that. So Garen hears the stirring and the skittering of a praying mantis coming upon him. He wakes up. Let's roll a prescience roll. So this is, we don't have any bonuses in prescience, but this is kind of like our social skill check. Maybe it's because campfire's out. Okay, so I did that wrong actually. We don't ask a question there. There is an actual reaction check for the encounter. So we know that it is a Eukarya, and now we need to do a reaction check, which is just a 2d6 roll. Which we rolled a 7, so it's neutral. It just kind of stumbles upon us. Okay, so this is kind of where like the storytelling and the oracle and just figuring out what's going on. So we have Garen, who was asleep in the middle of the night. His fire's out. A giant praying mantis has stumbled upon his camp. The praying mantis is neutral to him. It wasn't like hunting him down. Is not necessarily a friend, but wasn't like actively looking for him. So we're gonna roll on the oracle table. The way this works is we roll 2 dice, 1 to 3 times, just to try to feel out what kind of situation we're in. So the goal here, we want to ascertain one, like the temperament, like what is the praying mantis doing here? Because we know that Garen's just trying to go find this battle barge. He's trying to get out of the desert. He's pretty weary. He's been going through the desert for who knows how long. He doesn't have much HP, but he is a soldier, so he's disturbed in the middle of the night by a big hulking mass that he doesn't really understand. So we're looking for vibes of the situation. Is he gonna pretend like he's still asleep and try to like hide? Has the monster noticed him yet? What is the monster doing? These are all kind of thoughts we have in our head, and then we're just gonna roll the dice a couple of times and see what happens. So I rolled a 2 2s, so that's the way that the table works. It starts at 11, goes to 66. So courage. Let's see what we get. Let's roll 3 times. So courage. Oh wait, yeah. So courage, negotiation, and temptation. Okay. So I'm coming off the top here. So he's going to be courageous. He's going to stand up, and he's going to face down the mantis. But the mantis is going to have some kind of like negotiation, or like he's going to tempt him with an offer, you know. And the thing, like when you're playing solo, like you don't have to have a conversation with yourself. I mean, you certainly can if you want to. You can pretend to be a giant praying mantis. What does a giant praying mantis sound like? I don't know. I don't know. But he's gonna be kind of like, hey, I've been looking for somebody to help me do something because I just have simple praying mantis hands, but you're a human and you could do something. I don't know, let's think. So there's another table to gain insight into people, places, and things. Let's see if our boy can get some insight and feel things out. So we rolled a 54 profane. So this mantis is profane, and he's going to try to tempt us. What is he going to try to tempt us with? Let's see. Let's roll to see what he can tempt us with. Like, it's all about rolling. It's all about vibing. See, the real question is this a 14 or a 41? And I haven't even second guessed it until now. Like, I've just been looking at the numbers. Haven't even guessed it. I guess I should, in the future, I should think about that. Maybe roll 2 different colored die. But 41 or 14, who knows? 41 is gleaming and 14 is shining. Interesting. So they're kind of the same thing. We have a tempt. We have a negotiation. Maybe the mantis holds out a shining gem to our boy Garen, and he's like, a shining gem, does that really make sense? Is it a magical profane gem? And he holds it out and he offers it to Garen, and he's like, does it make sense that a giant praying mantis could even hold a gem? I don't know. Maybe it's not a gem. What does he have? What does he have? Okay, I was trying to think about what he had. I rolled again, 64, which is war-torn. So he has a gleaming war-torn object. And obviously he has to be holding a key piece to a battle barge. And maybe there's a piece of the wrecked battle barge stuck around this giant mantis, this eukaryote. And he doesn't speak. They don't speak the same language, but he's kind of presenting himself to Garen, just kind of pleading with him with his eyes and his skittering, saying, "Please, please help me get this off me." Garen looks at him, and at first he's like, he's not really sure what it is, but maybe now the sun is starting to rise, so he can see what's going on, and he sees that this mantis has a very obvious piece of a battle barge wedged around him or stuck to him in some place, or maybe there's a battle barge wreckage protruding from him, and he has to make the decision of is he gonna risk like helping this guy, and can he help him? We know that the guy's neutral. I think he's gonna help him. He's gonna go try and pull and help. I don't know. Somehow he's injured with this battle barge piece. Is Garen able to help this guy? I would assume that this is an intelligence task. Like I don't know, and this is like a me thing. I don't know when I will just roll the yes/no dice, or use for spells, perception, and other smart stuff. So is he able to look at this and come up with a plan to safely help this mantis guy get this battle barge piece off him? So we're going to roll an intelligence check. We're at -1 intelligence. We're looking for an 8. Okay, so even with our -1, he is able to say, hey, you're kind of stuck. I'm going to help you. He puts his hands up and slowly moves towards him, and he gets this piece of the battle barge off the mantis and is able to help him. So now he has this piece of the battle barge. I think the specific piece doesn't really matter. It's just a broken piece of it, but it's very clearly from the battle barge. And he tries to get the mantis to communicate, like, hey, I just helped you. Can you tell me where your battle barge is? Like, what happened? Is there anything you can tell me? And, of course, this mantis can't speak English. We know he's profane. Maybe he's not necessarily a good guy, and it's because he doesn't want to eat Garen right now, and he's thankful that he helped him. He might not necessarily have the best of motives. So in my mind, I'm kind of imagining maybe there's a battle barge that crashed into him, and that's why, or maybe crashed in or drove through maybe his colony or some kind of thing there and was causing chaos. So is he gonna send Garen at this battle barge crew that has invaded his colony? He's gonna turn and he's gonna just point with his mantis arm in the direction of the battle barge, and he's gonna look at the broken battle barge part, and he's gonna point off in a direction, and that direction is falling off the table. So we're currently here. Hey, the battle barge is this way. Of course, not in the direction of where I have more hexes, but I guess he would have to be pretty close. So that does make sense. So maybe his colony is in this one. So we know that there's a mantis. We know there's something over here. We know there's a special point of interest here. And we're going to roll the die and say, is the busted up battle barge, or potentially busted up battle barge and mantis colony there? Is he being honest? I rolled a 5, so that's just a flat yes. So now we know that the battle barge wreckage is here. So this is just a pencil drawing, and is just busted up. Maybe there's some smoke. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to know what it is. So we know that there's something there. We know there's mantis people there, and we know there's at least parts to a battle barge. So we're gonna back away from the mantis dude, and he's gonna tell the mantis dude, hey, I'm gonna go with you. Come on, show me where the battle barge is, and I'll go back. I'll go with you. And the mantis looks at him, and he's like, no, I'm good. And he sets off. He goes. He does go with him. All right, so there. Okay, we'll take that as a yes. He's gonna take him back, and maybe Garen gets his battle barge already, or maybe he's being led into some crazy adventure. But that's a session. That feels good. We're gonna call it here. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for hanging out with me, being a silly goofball. This is what Kal Arath is. This is what's awesome. This is what not being perfect is. And just jumping into the story and a narrative. I told myself a cool story that I had no idea was going to exist before I sat down to tell it. And now I have enough information to write a little short story about it. So that's always fun. And maybe I'll make Garen, maybe I'll sculpt his praying mantis buddy. Maybe they're going to be homies and go on a soldier praying mantis buddy cop adventure. We'll find out next time in the next episode of Kal Arath Z.